This is one of those really busy days, but we have a little get-together again tonight with the watercolor group, and I promised that I would make my scalloped corn casserole. It's like a nice hot dish kind of offering, and everybody likes it, except one person is not real happy with the pepper, the bell pepper ingredients. So I'm going to adapt it so that everybody likes it. Want everybody to be happy. And this recipe, as you might guess, is from my cookbook, Pop It in the Toaster Oven. And I'm just going to read you a little bit about what I wrote about this recipe when I made it. I said, I confess that scalloped corn casserole made by my Swedish grandmother was and still is a wonderful comfort food for me. Without sacrificing anything but the fat, I have duplicated her recipe, eliminating the half cup of butter, adding an extra egg, and using fat-free half and half thickened by unbleached. Much mileage can be gotten out of a tablespoon of margarine by dotting the breadcrumbs with it, then browning the top. The flavor of margarine penetrates the breadcrumbs and percolates down through the corn casserole, giving it a rich but not frighteningly fattening flavor. So now that we have that out of the way, so this is typical of my toaster oven recipes. I have all the ingredients here, which I will show you, and they all go into the baking dish, and then it all goes in to the toaster oven, and then it bakes until it's done at 400, and that's about 30 minutes covered. And then it is taken out, breadcrumbs are put on top, and then dotted with the margarine, and then it's put back in for 8 minutes or until it's lightly browned at broil or bake, whatever you can do. This is incredibly tasty, and it really does taste very, very rich, although it doesn't have a whole lot of calories. So before I start showing you the ingredients, I'm going to preheat my toaster oven to 400 degrees. And I just want to add that if you're interested in purchasing this book, which is one, I think, a very good cookbook for toaster ovens, you can pick it up anywhere, your local bookstore or online or wherever. And if you get it like on Amazon, you might be able to get a used copy for not very much at all. But it's really an essential with if you have a toaster oven. Or if you're thinking about getting a toaster oven, you're that much further ahead with this. Okay, so what I have here, in this recipe, this calls for 2 15-ounce cans of corn. And in this case, I had frozen corn. So that comes out to about 4 cups of corn. So I'm using frozen. You can use frozen or canned, doesn't matter. What I did is I duplicated the amount, which came to about 3/4 of a cup of pepper, bell pepper, and instead did grated carrot. So I think that's going to be a nice combo too. You get the same color, but for people that don't like that pepper, then there's the carrot. So then we also have 2 eggs right there. The tablespoon of margarine and the 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs in the back, that's going to go on later, but you'll need breadcrumbs. I make my own breadcrumbs, like stale bread, toast it, put it in the blender, and they taste a lot better, and they don't have a high sodium content. So then also here is a 1/2 cup of fat-free half and half right there. Not too much calories there. And then here is 2 tablespoons of the unbleached flour right there. And then the recipe calls for scallions. Well, I didn't have scallions, but if you don't have scallions, you can always use onion. So I finely chopped a nice Vidalia onion to substitute for the scallions. And then I have, this is my spice mixture for the recipe, and it consists of 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. So all of this is going to go into the casserole dish now, and then I'm going to add salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so it doesn't really matter how this all goes in, because it's going to get all mixed around anyway. Here's the corn, grated carrot, eggs, onion, spices, and the flour. Really good. You want that flour and half and half to blend with everything else. Then I'm just going to cover this casserole dish with foil. Tuck it in like that. You have a toaster oven, depending on the size, you probably will not be able to fit a domed lid of a casserole into your toaster oven, but this will certainly fit. Okay, so the corn casserole is going to go in for 30 minutes at 400, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is cooked. When I take it out, I'll check it. Wear oven mitts. You know, a toaster oven is an oven, and when it says 400 degrees, by gosh, it's 400 degrees in there. So I'm setting the timer for 30 minutes, and when it beeps, I'll come back and see how this casserole. Okay, well, there's the corn casserole, and you can see it is firm and cooked. It has been 30 minutes at 400. Smells absolutely wonderful. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, and by the way, there's a bit of moisture still in this. We don't want to dry it out, but on the other hand, it's going to go in for another 8 minutes with the breadcrumbs on it, so it's okay that it is moist like this. Next thing I'm going to do now is just sprinkle the top with these homemade breadcrumbs. And then I'm going to dot the top. Just put some margarine. Right around whole top like that. Casserole goes back in to the toaster oven. I'm going to broil it for 8 minutes or until the topping is brown. And depending on your toaster oven, watch that. You don't want to burn the topping. If you don't have the broil facility on your toaster oven, if you have a really old toaster oven, you might not, then you can certainly bake it for 8 minutes at 400, and it will pretty much be the same kind of result. So there's the corn casserole done, and it looks beautiful. It smells wonderful. You know, this was a 5-minute broil on here just to toast up the topping. And so I would give this a try. This was so easy. You just assemble all of the ingredients and then just put them right in the baking dish and then bake it covered, and then take the cover off, put the topping on, and you have a wonderful, wonderful corn casserole. Really tasty and very, very good.